And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Prop Stars with my boy TJ and your host here, Buff. We're glad to have you. We had a week off last week. We're ready to fire it up and talk about some of the things that are going around the NFL. We do want to start it off with Marvelous Marv Levy, and then we're going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys Netflix documentary. Obviously, me being a Cowboys fan, I'm just sick by it all. There is a little bit of a vendetta going on maybe against the Sanders family we're going to discuss. And then we got fantasy breakdown, fantasy mocks, and information to pass along to you to help you with your last second drafts. TJ, how you feeling today? How you been? And what do you think about Marvelous Marv Levy here? What is he, 100 years old? Been to 4 straight Super Bowls, Bills coach, right? He's a legend.
It was super cool, Dan. It was super cool. So Sean McDermott calls up Marv Levy to wish him happy birthday on the Hard Knocks show, right? And Marv Levy right now is saying that, oh, you don't have to call me. Thank you so much for calling me during training camp. And Sean McDermott's like, you're a Bills legend. Thank you for everything you've done for us. And I just wanted to call and wish you happy birthday. So that's all they say, right? Pretty quick, 15, 20 seconds. And I look up how old Marv Levy is. He turned 100 years old. I want to say it was on August 3rd. And it was super cool. It was really nice just to hear that how sharp he was. And, you know, he was kind of one of those innovative minds. I mean, he would, you know, with Jim Kelly in those days, they were, it was just the run and gun. And it was nice to see that his mind was still there. And I just hope that, you know, as we all age, not always so gracefully, that I could have a mind like his at his age. And just to hear him talk, you could obviously tell he's a little older, but it's 100 years old. And just a real, you know, it's really nice to just hear how self-aware he still was and to even be able to tell Coach McDermott, hey, you didn't have to call me. I know you're busy during training camp.
You know, we're huge Marv Levy fans. The Giants got a ring off him. Cowboys got 2. You know what I mean? Like, we're all huge Marv Levy fans.
Yeah, and I mean, I always thought the Bills got a bum rap. To me, if I'm a Bills fan, I'd be honored to go to the Super Bowl 4 times. The one against the Giants, they were a little bit of a favorite. They could have won that game, but the other 3 games, they were really outmatched. And, you know, they battled. I think the second Cowboys Super Bowl, they had them on the ropes. They took the lead at halftime, and then, you know, the Cowboys ran wild. But it was super cool. There's also, okay, I want to get this off my chest for everybody that's listening really quick too. If you're driving on the road, right? I wanted to say this in the last couple of podcasts. We keep on forgetting. If you're driving on the road, I don't care if you're in Orlando or in a different city. If, God forbid, you miss a turn, it's okay.
To go down, do a U-turn.
You go down and you make a U-turn. We're driving to a kid's surprise party yesterday. We're driving to Jeff's surprise party. I got the kids in the back. And this lady decided she wanted to take out 6 cars in the road because she missed a turn. I live in Orlando, so I know how to drive in Orlando. But if I'm driving in Chicago, if I miss an exit, life will go on, but I will not do it. You know, I will not cut 6 people off,
jeopardize multiple lives, vehicles.
This guy that it's all over the news. Everybody knows he did a U-turn with a semi-truck, and the minivan went right under, and he killed the whole family because he missed a turn and decided that he was just gonna make another quick turn, which would happen to be a U-turn, and he killed a few people. So if you're driving on the road and you miss a turn, life will go on.
That's an absolute fact, man.
Just go and all of a sudden hit the brakes and make a right turn when you're in the left lane 3 lanes over, or with this semi.
Orlando is a crazy community when it comes to driving because it's such a melting pot and you get so many foreigners. You see wrong way drivers on our ramps downtown, around Disney. People are always lost, looking on their phone, directions. Yes, if you miss a turn, please just go down and take the next exit.
It's okay to miss an exit. Life will go on.
Life will go on. So one more thing to say about Marv Levy real quick, right? No. You got to get that off your chest, dude. I get it. That's why Tyson says if you're going to drive slow, get out the left-hand lane, you know? Marv Levy also was a World War II vet. That's what's also pretty cool. One of his famous quotes that he had, it was said that they were asking him, because he played, I guess, for the Wyoming Cowboys. So he used to play college football before he got in. And they're asking him, like, hey, do you think this game is a must-win game? This is like going on during the war. He was like, no. World War II is a must-win game.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of shows you the guy's always been focused. He's always had his mind in the right place, and you can see why he led the Bills to success. I think it's a pretty cool story.
It's important to keep things in perspective. Like, I agree with that. Like, I always hate when I watch the Giants in a big game, or the Knicks or the Yankees. I'm
People always make too much out of it,
Yeah, and I love watching football. I love saying, "Oh, Giants are dominating right now." I don't understand how people watch sports and they're not enjoying themselves at all. And maybe they are, and they're just nervous and putting. Yeah, I get nervous too, because it's like,
right. That's part of the fun, though.
History, and like, the more you care, the more nervous you are, right? And you want your team to do good. But I always make a point to take a step back and be like, this is why I work so hard at certain things, so I can have my friends and family over and entertain and enjoy the moment. Nothing pisses me off more, like, you see people, you're pacing back and forth. I mean, let's be real. I get it if you have action on the game, and that intensity is fun, but take a step back and please enjoy it. So I think that's what Marv Levy was trying to say there, right?
100%, man. No matter what, these guys are paid millions of guaranteed dollars to play a game. It's a game. You know what I mean? So let's never forget that, man.
Let's jump into the Cowboys documentary, though. I know that you've watched some of it. I watched every episode the first day.
You got the gambler and his Cowboys. Jerry Jones putting on the forefront the 90s dynasty and the glory days, my childhood, the last time we won. It's 30 years this year since we've won a Super Bowl. They've had Emmett on there. They've had Irvin on there talking about the good days, and I've heard their comments on our team now. I mean, I will say this. Everybody says we need to sign Micah. You know what I mean? I know that much. But no, it's pretty cool. The franchise was in an incredible state, and the way that we had Jimmy Johnson, obviously I know you're a big fan of Miami, so he was just like the perfect recipe for us. And then us drafting Aikman, getting, Emmett. I mean, you just can't make it up the big three. Nobody ever gives enough respect to Moose Johnson. You had an incredible line. It was just an awesome team to watch.
I thought it was
obvious. I wish I had more knowledge as a kid when I was like getting into it, understanding what I was really watching, knowing that this is going to be it for the next 30 years. Pay attention. You know what I mean? Like, as a child. But it was, not quite to that level. And it's cool to see the nostalgia. It gives me memories, and it's a little bit of a kickback. It just pisses me off because I feel like Jerry Jones continues to exploit the Cowboys. We are like the richest franchise in the world at $12.8 billion. The Yankees are at like 8.2, Lakers at 10. Cowboys are the richest. You got Man U, other things out there. That's all that matters to him. We want a ring. I would rather like make less money and get rings. But instead, he's still over here, 30th anniversary, figuring out a way to funnel more money to build the franchise. Just, it's annoying to me, even though it's cool all in one.
Miles, hang on tight, okay? We're going to get to that question in a minute. I thought the interesting thing about the Netflix documentary was some things I didn't know. I didn't know that Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones were full PPR. Thanks.
I'm liking that a little bit. Chase Brown in there. I'm scared about the Puka thing a little. I don't know.
We'll talk about that in a minute. But the Jerry Jones, Jimmy Johnson thing, I didn't know they were college roommates, right? And before they fired Landry, he hired Jimmy Johnson, but he had to keep it on the hush hush. Nobody knew yet, because Jerry Jones was coming in, an Arkansas guy. Nobody really wanted him to take over ownership. He was almost this rebel, right? He hit big in oil. He was a very successful businessman.
Right. But he was an energy guy.
Getting rid of, their big ball coach.
He's a legend.
Was not a great thing, right? Now, we'll fast forward. We won't give a whole synopsis of it, but the big thing, Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson were really close, right? And college roommates, they both played for the same team, which is crazy. I didn't think their ages were so close, but they're very close in age. And you could tell Jimmy Johnson was more of a stud. Jerry Jones was there. He made the team. They won the national championship in Arkansas.
Right.
And the big thing that split them up, though, was Jerry Jones said a quote, and he said, I could hire 500 coaches to coach this team and we win a Super Bowl. Now, the interesting thing was that he was taking credit for building that roster.
Right.
Where Jimmy Johnson, we all know, is the one that built roster. Right. And when he said that, Jimmy Johnson, I mean, think about it. We'll never see that ever again. They fired Jimmy Johnson after he won 2 Super Bowls in a row. They fired him. That was because of ego.
It's the worst. It's the worst look that and then we hire Switzer. We lose one, and he comes back and finishes the
And he
dynasty.
wins one, which is fine, right? And it's all with Jimmy
He's the
Johnson
Oklahoma guy, obviously.
And I think now, I forget, but Jerry Jones, they had some struggles going on. Like Jerry Jones took over. They were horrible the first couple of years.
Yeah. Troy Aikman won one game, 2 games.
Jimmy Johnson was there. They couldn't fix it, right? But they were building something special, and they did. But I guarantee when Jerry Jones won 3 out of 4 Super Bowls with Jimmy Johnson's roster, he was like, this is going to be something. We're going to be here a lot. And look at that. Now we're 30 years later, and they haven't even really sniffed the Super Bowl, right?
No, we've had a blundering quarterback to quarterback conversation until we actually got to Romo. Romo was just known as a great regular season quarterback, won 13 games, 12 games a couple times, just could never get it done against the Packers, right? And then you literally in his best chance to get us through, Dak has to come on the scene, and then he takes that job and then loses to the Packers. It's just such a fucking shit. And then here we are. Like, we've been meddling. We've had some 12-game seasons. We're perennially 8-8 since the Super Bowl, or 9-8 now, whatever it was. It used to be an even number. It just sucks, man. Jerry Jones thought we were going to be there every day. Like Dan Marino, when he was a quarterback rookie year, makes it to the Super Bowl. Oh, this is great. I'm going to be there all the time. Never made it back, right? Like, you just.
And I didn't realize how much Jerry Jones actually broke the NFL rules back then. But he was the clever one that did the signing bonus thing. And then the NFL fixed that glitch, right? Where he front loaded Dion a lot of signing bonus money through the Nike sponsorship or something like that. And my details could be a little off, but you couldn't get individual sponsorships at the time. The NFL brought in the sponsorships and it got dispersed. And then Jerry Jones said F off, which it seemed a little, at the time it was super shady. Now he knocked down some barriers. Dylan, thanks for listening, buddy. Yeah, senior. Yeah, and you're right. It's the Jerry pride that has cost his team. Like, he is the general manager of. Isn't that crazy? Like,
it's
yeah,
wild.
He listens to his scouts, but you need a GM in his 30s, 40s, or 50s that is literally breathing. I know Jerry Jones, when he first took over the Cowboys, Dylan. I know you're a lot younger, but I love that you're listening. Jerry Jones said, "I'm the business guy. Jimmy Johnson is the football
guy. Right.
And that lasted about a year or two. And then Jerry Jones said, hey, I want to be CC'd on every single transaction. And Jimmy Johnson kind of laughed at it, right?
Right.
And he didn't think he was serious. And that's why this documentary, I thought when I was going to watch it, I wasn't going to learn anything new. We know, I'm a Giant fan. Everyone knows how hard it was to beat those teams back then. But then you really see the behind the scenes and how Jerry Jones just could not put his ego and pride aside.
Isn't that what Bill Parcells said? I need to go grocery shop for my own groceries. Yeah. That's the whole thing, bro. And like, even he pushed Parcells out too, man. And that was also who got our Romo team together with T.O. and everything.
And that was a good roster. That was a good
roster, dude.
And that was close.
Parcells put together a good roster.
The Romo fumble was big. All right. Hey, let's jump right into fantasy. Let's answer some of these questions. The chat board's lighting up. Did you see the trade?
So it was Tet, right, from the Panthers.
So Puka, he has Puka and Diggs.
Right.
It's Tet, Chase Brown, and Devontae Adams, full PPR.
For Puka and Diggs. Tet, Chase Brown, and Devontae Adams. The Chase Brown, Devontae Adams definitely makes up for Puka. And then you get like Tet to like throw it in there. And then it's Puka and who?
It's right there.
Who's the first? Okay, we got it out. Is Puka and Diggs? I do love Diggs, man. This year, like super, super late. He's going to be the number one. He's a target monster. I don't know. That's pretty even trade. I guess it depends on who you like. Yeah, I prefer the Chase Brown thing because he's just going to get so many catches out of there.
Yeah, I mean, I do that trade, to be honest with you. I think that Diggs, there's a big unknown there, right? I think he's going to be good, but is he going to be like a 1,300-yard guy? I don't know about that.
I can see him being like an 80 to 90 catch guy. You know what I mean?
Could be. Let's go into we had some fantasy drafts, right? This weekend. let's start jumping.
Yeah, I did 4 yesterday. I had 1 at noon, 1 at 2, 1 at 3, 1 at 7. Drove the wife crazy. Everyone was very patient with me while we were at the birthday party simulating golf. It was a great time. Some lessons learned, some crazy moves, and some fucking awful picks from other teams out there, that's for sure. But we also have some good meat and potatoes for some discussion. All right, so you want to talk about your draft first? You want to go down? So we have a 3-tier league. In one of the leagues that we do like a 36-man league. It's a 3-tier relegation league. There's an A league, 12-man, B league, 12-man, C league, 12-man. Every winner of every league moves up. Obviously, the A, you win the league. If you win the B league, you get to move up into the A league. If you win the C league, you move up into the B. But if you lose the B you lose in the A, you each go down a tier. So that's the league. You're in the B league, 12-man league. What position did you have?
Yeah. So I had the 9th pick. I went Ashton Genty, right?
I have 5 picks. C-Mac, Gibbs.
No,
Who
yes.
should I be getting on my pick 5? C-Mac and Gibbs.
I would be shocked if Gibbs falls to pick 5, first of all, Kevin.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if Gibbs goes to pick 5. Now, I do have a little bit of insight with these people in this draft. We know that someone before at pick 4 is a big C-Mac fan, right? But I think the conversation is it going to be C-Mac, Jefferson, or CD Lamb? That
right,
is
CD Lamb's in there.
Now,
or Puka, if you like Puka.
Gibbs falls to 5, you take Gibbs. He could be a number 1 pick, could be the number 1 fantasy producer. I mean, the guy is everything. Roll Tide background, obviously. The guy flies. He's big. He looks wiry, but when you see him without pads, his neck is like big. So I don't think the question there isn't Gibbs or C-Mac. If Gibbs falls, you take Gibbs. The question is probably going to end up being, is it C-Mac, Jefferson, or CD Lamb? What do you think, Bob?
C-Mac, well, my lesson that I'm taking out of this draft this year, and I know we still have a couple left, and the big one is still there. I would definitely say you're well advised to go back this year. I would definitely be looking for a running back on your way back on that 5 pick. You're looking at if you can get a Josh Jacobs, Bucky Irving, Chase Brown. There's going to be a whole window of receivers there if you feel that one of those guys falls to you, and that's what you want. But I would go C-Mac and risk it for the biscuit. And then let's talk about that. If you're going to get C-Mac, who do you think the handcuff is? Is it Garindo or Brian Robinson? Because there's a definite split. Nobody was saying that Garindo was taking any burn away from C-Mac, right? And then now Robinson comes in, and you're one of the people saying definitely he's going to take goal line touches because he's a goal line guy. So it's automatically points taken away from C-Mac. Do you think it's a handcuff situation? Do you think it's a game flow situation? Or do you think it's like 3rd, 4th, and short, they bring him in?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all about keeping C-Mac healthy. He's 29. He just turned 29. He's in the prime.
I think he has a big year this year, number 1.
Yeah, and I always everyone was saying how Saquon was injury prone. I'm like, sometimes you just run a little unlucky. I think Christian McCaffrey comes back this year. He's a workhorse. I think he's going to do whatever it takes to stay healthy. And that's why they went and got Brian Robinson, right? To kind of spell him a little bit. I don't think it's going to hurt him fantasy-wise as much. It's going to take some touches away from him, right? Because the Niners aren't trading for a running back 2 weeks before the season starts.
Well, don't you feel like instead of just slamming McCaffrey to a fucking block line, now you have a bigger body in Brian Robinson, and now instead of just running him 5 to 7 plays into a dead line, now you can cut McCaffrey out. You can get him running routes. You don't always have to just give him 30 touches, but 10 of them have to be into a stuffed line. I mean, I feel like sometimes it's just redundant, though. Some of those touches are useless.
It's going to extend his career, extend his season, right? It's going to keep him fresh. And I just don't think that I think that Brian Robinson moves ahead of Grendo in the depth chart. I don't know week 1 because I don't know how long it's going to take for him to get used to. Obviously, Shanahan has a pretty in-depth playbook, right? But
the Niners were so snake bitten on all their picks last year, weren't they? Because you had McCaffrey go down, and then Mason went down, and then Garindo's over here, and you thought you were grabbing a handcuff and you didn't know who it was. I think they learned last year it's definitely running game is for the attrition. You got to have running backs to fill the space, and you got to make sure that somebody goes down. You got people capable to fill it, right? So I definitely get it. And they traded Brian Robinson for a bag of chips, dude. A 6th round pick. just as
I
just
know.
a sixer. And that also tells you about the commies, like the Commanders. They got this boy Ja'Cory Kasky Merritt. He goes by Bill. Are they just trading Robinson away because he's cooked, or are they trading him away because Kasky Merritt is a very serviceable piece? He's jumping right in that 7th round pick. So it's like, are you taking Travis Hunter or Kasky Merritt? Depends on where you are, right? I like Travis Hunter.
Well, yeah, with Brian Robinson, there was some contract disputes, right? And they just said, we're not dealing with that. We're good enough at running back depth right now that we're not. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just the way it went, right?
So it's going to be Kasky Merritt. It's going to be Eckler. And they still got, which nobody's talking about, that kid, Christian Rodriguez. And he actually had some burn last year. And he's a real big body. You know, I think that he could actually kind of be a sneaky pick that nobody's talking about too. If you were to give me like one unspoken about sleeper in all of fantasy right now that's being undrafted that could actually be a producer, it might be Christian Robinson.
Yeah, I mean,
Rodriguez. Sorry, Christian Rodriguez.
Christian Rodriguez. Yeah, I don't know much about him, but also Debo is going to be taking some carries too. I would say Debo might get 3 to 5 carries a game too.
Sure.
Right? And a lot of other gimmick plays.
So producer Rob saying, do y'all think Shiloh Sanders gets signed? All right, so let's talk about that real quick as we're in the middle of the fantasy tip. Goes right into the topics. Shiloh Sanders threw a punch in his Buffalo Bills game. Shiloh Sanders was already competing for a job. He was on the bubble if he was going to make the roster or not. He had some pretty good splash plays there, saying in camp and whatnot. But he throws this punch and he immediately gets away from the team. Now, whenever you get away from the team, you got a chance to get to a practice squad, is what they're saying. But as soon as this happens, now you have this rhetoric of the NFL being after the Sanders family, holding some sort of grudge, a vendetta. Do you think that's any truth? Do you think that he gets picked up? I think he gets picked up into a practice squad.
Get picked up. He didn't get waived because of the punch, right? That he wasn't.
Optics are optics, though, right?
No, yeah, he didn't get waived because of the punch, but it happened and they cut him after. Like, he wasn't going to make that team, from what I understand. And I mean, yeah, it's interesting to see. A lot of people are saying Shador's getting sabotaged. I don't believe any of it. I think every coach. What does Stefanski say? Oh, we want to call that play where he gets sacked for 25 yards. I mean, that's not the way it works, right? It's football. And Shador, even though I was very high on him, made some like really bad plays in the preseason. Like, he's trying to shake and bake behind the line of scrimmage when he lacks that athletic ability. It's honestly kind of annoying. I heard somebody on a major radio today say, well, he's getting Lamar Jackson comparisons. I'm like, because he's black? Because Shador Sanders isn't a mobile. He's a pocket passer.
In Louisville, Lamar Jackson was a ghost, bro. You couldn't he couldn't bring him down. He ran all over the place. Are you kidding me? It was different. I agree. He didn't play well enough to make the team.
Yeah. I think that we spent enough time on the Sanders family. Hey, good luck to them. In a way, you could say their nepotism got him to Division I football, and they were good enough to compete at that level. But the NFL, it's such a high caliber competitive league. Either you're good enough or you're not. And if you're good enough.
You see your boy Tripole saying that he wants to make sure he's leaving every draft with Krosky Merritt. Bill!
I know. But Dylan, you know what's crazy about that is I'm going to tell you right now, when Krosky Merritt got drafted in this league.
I'm telling you, man, he's going overvalued because of it. And there's a lot of other guys that are going to outproduce him from what I see. I think if you get him late, it's a good pick. But I don't think that you overpay for fucking Bill. That's for sure.
I'm going to tell you right now.
That's a good fantasy name, by the way. Kill Bill. You heard it here.
Dylan, he went 52nd in our draft yesterday.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, he went in round.
That's
5.
ridiculous. In that league, and this is why you're in the B League, TJ. You're not in the B League for that reason. You play with people in that league that make decisions like that. Like, I'm in the B League
to bet, guys. For all it's wondering, I'm in the B League to honor a bet. Anyways, so listen.
He actually never lost and got relegated down. He said if this particular team that happened to be Jeffrey Schneider and JC were to win the championship, that he would take a relegation. They won the league, so he took the relegation.
Yeah, as a man of my word.
Honestly, it's been a couple years, and he's been really close with a couple of good teams. Just hasn't made it out yet.
All right, and Kevin, if you're listening right now, I'm looking at this draft, and Jahmyr Gibbs slipped to the 7th pick.
You definitely take Gibbs in 7.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey went ahead of Gibbs. So
you can make a case for that. There's a case.
Yeah, it went Bijan 1, Jamar Chase 2, Saquon 3, Jefferson 4, CeeDee Lamb 5.
The
CeeDee
Jefferson
Lamb,
is the one I don't agree with there, and it's because of the unproven with McCarthy. And like, sure, he's quarterback proof, this and that and the other. Like, can we just see a few games first before we just anoint Jefferson like the third best player on the board? Like,
no, yeah, McCarthy scares me. Just he won a national championship, but you saw how Harbaugh protected him, and we don't know anything about McCarthy. We don't even really the preseason numbers haven't even. I haven't as he even played. I haven't seen a throw.
there's the one throw that we saw him do that was
Yeah,
just
last
so
year.
good.
And every quarterback could throw a 50-yard bomb, so that doesn't do it for me. And the way Harbaugh protected him in college, I'm just real. I don't know. It's just a big unknown. He might be good. We just don't know. You know what I mean? He obviously impressed people in the draft room. He's a first-round pick. I just don't know. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
Jefferson being a
there's
little
not much else to say other than I just don't know. Like,
yeah,
for people like you and me who've been doing this so long, for those fantasy players that are out there, depending on your average years of playing time, you just want to go with more things that are known than things that are unknown. And that's
yeah.
the point. You gather knowledge, you use that knowledge to make better decisions going forward. And it's tough to trust taking your number one pick overall. And JJ is an incredible dude. He's proven to be that dude. It's just tough to take an unproven quarterback
I'm
that's
kind of
tied to your number one
surprised to
pick.
see Neighbors has always been a first-round pick in pretty much all the drafts and mocks and projections.
He's been
Neighbors
dropping
is
down to the second in the drafts that I've been doing.
Neighbors is starting to slide down a little bit. Derrick Henry is starting to move up, right?
In my draft, I took Derrick Henry with the first pick, 8th overall. I went Derrick Henry and got Jonathan Taylor on the way back for my first 2 picks.
Yeah.
I told you you're well advised to go back. I think that the tier of running back that you're going to get up top is better than that middle tier. I think
agree.
just the consistency, and I think there's just this massive bubble of receivers. You get like 60 receivers and like 45 picks. You know what I mean? And there's just so many guys that are. You're talking about the fantasy differential of 10 to 25 points for the year from being a second round receiver to a 4th round receiver.
Yeah.
That's not enough for me to buy. And I know you like what you like. Take who you're going to take in fantasy. You got to target your guys, but there has to be the trial and error, the practice, so you can be versed. If somebody reaches and takes a guy out of position, you don't have to reach. I was involved in a league yesterday that everybody was just so running back heavy and everybody was leaving receivers behind. I did not want to make any reach for running backs, even though that was probably the smart move in that league. I just kept taking receiver after receiver after receiver after receiver. And I think that's the right thing to do when you're presented with choices that are forcing your hand. You go with the value. It's always a rule.
No, yeah, I would really recommend. I mean, all the drafts I've done so far that I've played out, you could not go quarterback and not go tight end for the first 8 picks.
I agree.
You could go 4 running backs or 3 running backs, 5 receivers, or 4 and 4, right? You probably don't want to get more than 4 running backs because you're just losing value. There's just not enough there.
You have to.
But you could go. I got Jared Goff in the 10th round. Guy threw for 40 touchdowns and 40, or no, hold on. Yeah, 4,500 yards, 40 touchdowns. I mean, the guy's a beast. I don't see any reason why you'd have to
Obviously, go. OC's moved on. Are they going to keep it
11th,
going?
Yeah, 11th round. To me, what does Ben Johnson have anything to do with that? They have one of the best offensive lines in football. They have Jahmyr Gibbs. They have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Laporta.
And Montgomery. Like, they have everything.
Yeah, the Ben Johnson didn't make that team. Ben Johnson didn't make that team. It was Jared Goff and all the boys. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, that team is loaded. And guess what?
The giant mistake that I feel that everybody always takes is, you know how everybody loves to give everyone so much credit and then nobody gives them enough credit. And I feel like people who are down on the Lions offense, that's a giant mistake. Like, they're going to be good 100%.
Yeah, he threw for almost 40 touchdowns and 4,600 yards, right? And you could get Goff. I got Goff in the 11th round.
And people just don't like it because he has no legs. And they think everyone's just all about this mobile quarterback, and I need to move the needle with a running quarterback and legs, and I need that value. I don't think it matters in the likes of a Matt Stafford, a Jared Goff. Like, look at Patrick Mahomes, dude. Like, he's not the legs guy. Joe Burrow's not a legs guy. You have quarterbacks that can sit there and make you plenty of points from
Yeah. And
like Patrick Mahomes is
agree
what,
with the tight
seventh
end.
or eighth round? He used to be like the first pick. He's obviously dropping down, but he's a better value pick now. You know, it's
Yeah,
a
I
great
agree
pick.
with the tight end too. You don't have to go tight end early. Yeah, I mean, if you want to take a chance, you'll get Kittle and stuff like that. I mean, obviously Kittle's going to be the center of that offense with C-Mac. So Kittle, I love Kittle, but I would just rather take like a Hunter Henry.
It's Bowers, it's McBride, and it's Kittle. Okay.
Yeah,
And then
I
after
put
that,
Kittle ahead of-
right? And those are like the top four guys. I would rather take somebody down in the 10th, 11th, 12th round. Obviously, it's more of a back end tight end one. You're taking a chance, but give me your Hunter Henry. I am big on the Kyle Pitts this year. I think Kyle Pitts comes back and is Kyle Pitts under Penix. Like, they love him, and I think they got enough weapons around him.
Yeah.
I think Drake London still has around a 30% target share, but Kyle Pitts is the second receiver. I think that you have tight ends like I like Tucker Kraft. You know, like our other buddy Gene, he likes Ingram. There's a whole bubble with Ingram and Mark Andrews in that like 6th, 7th, 8th round. If you feel that's enough value for you to get a guy that you love, then go for it. But I don't think you need to take tight end in your first.
Yeah,
8 to
Mark.
10
I mean,
picks.
Evan Ingram's going to have a huge year, and like he had that huge preseason game, so that bumped them up around too. Dylan, I agree.
Dylan. I agree.
Dak is going to have a monster year. He was a runner-up MVP 2 years ago. People forget about these guys, and then you get hurt, and then it's like, guess what? The more Parsons sits out, the better Dak's going to be, right?
Well,
I mean,
Dak's actually a great bounce back quarterback too. If you've ever looked at his career, every year he ever has had a down year or been injured, he absolutely blows the fuck up the next year.
He's a
So
regular.
this is the year to go in on Dak.
Yeah,
I'm telling
you. He's a regular season god, and I hope Dak turns it around when it comes to the winning personality. Obviously, the cap hit and all that stuff. But Dak is a regular season god, and that guy is not scared to throw up numbers. I think he's gonna have multiple 350, 400 yards.
You got CeeDee Lamb, you got Pickens, you got Ferguson, Jaden Blue's now coming out of the backfield. It's gonna be tough, dude. You can't cover those guys.
Yeah. A couple other guys I like that are slipping a little bit. I like Pacheco. Pacheco was the second, third round pick last year. All of a sudden, the guy gets hurt, and guess what? Kareem Hunt is not taking carries away.
He's not it, and neither is I forget. God, he slips my mind. He was the big white dude that came in last year that was running by Steele. Is his name Steele?
Yeah, that guy's not. No one.
He's not it either. You know what I mean? Hey, it's not going to be. I do like Pacheco there. Now let's talk about this. Let's get this out there in the air for everyone to hear. There is a wonderful running back who's slipping down boards. His name is Joe Mixon. He's 29 years old. The guy through 11 games last year was the number one running back at the time.
Yeah.
Until injury. Okay.
Yeah.
He had like 1,000 yards. He was at double-digit touchdowns, and the Texans were just running the ball down everyone's throat.
Yeah.
He's had an injury at the beginning of the year. Neither one of us have heard conflicting reports that it's serious by any means. It's just going to be a few weeks, right? They do have Nick Chubb, right?
Yeah.
As the backup. He's going to be the starter, I think. Somebody's saying they drafted a kid too. I forget his name. I looked at him. I think it's Chubb's show as the lead experience back. He's another year healthier until Mixon comes back. I think it's Chubb's backfield.
Yeah.
Mixon is slipping into the 6th round.
Yeah.
7th round.
I got him in the 6th round, and this is a hot topic. We have a great source, Frank from Kitties. He says this Mixon injury is a little more severe than what they're letting on.
He says it's kind of like a C-Mac injury where it's lingering.
Yeah. Now, with me, yeah, of course, taking Mixon in the 2nd or 3rd round where he should be going would be a risk. But in the 6th round, what are the Texans known for? DeMeco Ryans, a defensive guy. Texans have a great defense, great pass rush, great front seven, very good secondary. They want to run the ball, right? And Mixon, who might not even come back for a month. If I, as a Mixon owner now, and I have a lot of stock in Mixon, I hope he doesn't come back for a month. Let's get him healthy. Let's get him ready for late in the year. But I think that we had a friend that, Frank highly disagreed with the pick at 6, saying he's almost undraftable because he won't come back. I feel like that Mixon will be a guy that, listen, when you're drafting on your draft boards, the one thing you want to see next to a guy's name is an O. Because guess what? That puts fantasy owners in a frenzy, and they'll just watch a guy slip. I'm not talking about a Rashi Rice O where it's so unknown with suspensions, we don't know. But I'm talking about, like, if you love a guy and you see a Q next to his name or an O as an out or questionable, that's great. Because guess what? There's 80% of people, 70, 80% of people automatically. What's up, John? Thanks for listening. I think that it's important to not give up on those guys. And guess what? Who cares if they're missing the first couple weeks of the year? That's not what you're trying to do. You're trying to build a playoff team, right, that gets hot at the right time. So I think when you're drafting and you see an O next to someone's name, don't dismiss them like most people do.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. There are a few guys, whenever you're drafting in fantasy, there are times where you might feel that the value lies in the receiver or a different running back, and that you can come back down and swoop up a value position later. In the particular league that I was in, it was just some running back frenzy. I ended up with C-Mac, and my second running back, I got a Javonte Williams. But I also went out, and he's going to be a starter right now.
Yeah.
But I went out, made a few other picks, and I feel that whenever you look at your team, you have to know that a Joe Mixon is a great pick, depending on where you get him. I also grabbed a Judkins because he's going to be coming back, right?
Yeah.
Other running backs I grabbed late, I told you, I already mentioned Nick Chubb is a great late running back because of the Mixon thing. It makes him a great value. He's just starting. What do you love to see, TJ? Round 12, starting running back for the Houston Texans, Nick Chubb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you have these other guys that you can dance around. So maybe I'm thin at running back, okay? Because I know that Tyson was very unhappy with the team selection there, because I had to end up getting a Javonte Williams or a Judkins. But my receivers, I ended up getting Amon-Ra St. Brown, A.J. Brown, Lad McConkey, Egbuka. And then I still got Pickens. The receivers are so deep. It's a double flex league. You only need technically 3 running backs or 3 receivers, depending the way you make your bed with your draft. If you see that one position goes so scarce and you have to go value, please balance your team out and make it to where you're not reaching for every other position because you feel you have to fill a position.
Yeah.
It's not necessary, right?
I feel like we're stating the obvious here, but I think we both agree that if it comes down to this, if you can, with your first 8 picks.
Well, who do you have ahead of Mixon is my point. Who do you have ahead of Mixon?
Yeah. So Pacheco went 3 in this draft. Pacheco went 3 picks. 3 picks.
No. I mean, like, your running backs on who are you rostering? And then adding Mixon into the fold as a value pick in round 6. That's my point.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I went Genty first round, Devon A-Chain second round, right?
And so Mixon's your third running back?
Yeah.
So that's wonderful whenever you put it in context. And that's what Frank, I don't think, was really asking. It's about the context that you put it in. You're getting a number 1 running back in your 6th pick, but he's your 3rd back. That means that you just stacked up on receivers, and you feel very good about that.
And guys, when we're listening here, please keep in mind that almost every league we're in now is a double flex. So that's why I always say go 4 and 4.
100%.
Then you start addressing your quarterback and tight ends 9th and on. Like I said, I think I got like a top 10 quarterback in the 11th round in Jared Goff. But Trevor Lawrence went in the 16th round. Now, I just don't see the big point differential. If Goff's going to average 20 points a game, what's Patrick Mahomes going to average? 24, 26? That 4 to 6 points, I'll give you those 4 to 6 points, and I'll build up my depth and draft a quarterback 5 rounds later, right? Now, if you're not a double flex, you have to start addressing things a little different, right? What I mean double flex is, right?
You can go earlier on everything because of that.
Now, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, maybe 3, and then 2 flex positions, right? You really don't want to put a tight end in your flex position. You really want a running back or a wide receiver.
That's a starter.
At least the first 6 to 7 picks. Running back, receiver, running back, receiver, however you want to do it. But build that depth. And as the year goes on, I think that's a really big thing. You'll see that, oh, man, thank God I got this guy in the 7th round. And, you're going to I could say you could go 0 at tight end sometimes. Who really cares, right?
There's still undrafted tight ends right now. We talked about the K. Dottons, the Brenton Stranges.
Yeah.
There are dudes that are out there that are going undrafted that are starting tight ends, if depending on the league you're in. So yeah, there's plenty of draft at the end when it comes to QBs and tight ends. Please build your lineups with receivers and running backs.
What's your thoughts on Golden? He went in the 7th round. I thought that was a little early.
For who?
Matthew Golden.
Oh, for Golden. All right. So here's a discrepancy between Yahoo and ESPN. ESPN has him bolstered as a receiver who's capping 200 points in PPR leagues.
Yeah, guys, Matthew Golden, Green Bay Packers is going to be the number 1. They said Jordan Love.
Right, he was a blazing 4.2 something 40. He might step right into the number 1. It was Jaden Reed, it's Romeo Dubes, it's Tucker Kraft, you know what I mean? And of course, it's Josh Jacobs. I think Golden is primed for a great position. I think 7 is probably a little early because ESPN has him at 7, Yahoo has him at like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
So it's just so weird the way he's being recalibrated in different leagues.
That we both like Keenan Allen. I went Keenan Allen in the 9th round. Do you think that's on a 12-man league? Do you think that's a little early, or do you think that him and Herbert are just going to reconnect?
Well, buddy, I think if you really like Keenan Allen, I think you're already mid your team. That's not too early. I did get Keenan Allen in a league in like the 12th round. So, I mean, if he's just dropping and people are scrambling for running backs because that's what happens, they're trying to piece it together. A Keenan Allen falls right in your lap and he's like Justin Herbert's preferred comfort blanket whenever he goes to sleep. You know what I mean? And like you get to drive a Ladd McConkey to work and then you go to sleep with a Keenan Allen because he's comfortable,
Yeah.
And I think that's a great choice, man. I think there's a couple guys that are like that. Receivers that are also dropping, not quite that far down, but you do have a Jerry Jeudy and your classic Jacoby Myers. These are 2 dudes that continue to fall that are going to be producers, wide receiver 1s, and you can get them in the 5th, 6th, 7th round, in your draft, and it could be a great flex position. Jerry Jeudy blew up at the end of last year. I had buyer's remorse. I dropped him trying to get a little running back, move, trying to make it happen. And Jerry Jeudy had Jameis Winston come in or whatever happened. And
it was unbelievable.
History. He just went nuts.
Think Flacco could get Jeudy the ball like Winston did or no?
Right. Yeah, I do. Absolutely, bro. I think Flacco can. Why is Joe Flacco a Super Bowl winner from the Ravens? Remember the Blackout Bowl and Kaepernick and all that. You know what I mean? Like, and here he is still starting, still savvy, still got arm strength. Like, that run by Super Joe Flacco is still so incredible. It's one of the greatest runs by any QB ever.
Yeah.
He had like all touchdowns, no receptions, yardage, like the ring, everything, bro. It was one of the greatest runs, any quarterback. And here he is still fucking slanging the rock. Give me some Joe Flacco, undrafted quarterback. Don't go draft any quarterback. Go get Flacco.
Yep. I know, right? I don't know how. I mean, let's go back to quarterback really quick. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, and you could probably put Burrow in there because everyone's if they're not going to re-sign Hendricks, then what's you know what I mean?
Sure.
I think that Burrow is in those 3 quarterbacks. After that, don't go quarterback. Dawson Knox could work. Yeah, so like, okay, John, this is what we're trying to say.
Kincaid is the preferred, right? Dawson Knox is going undrafted, man.
Yeah, so this is the kind of thing, right? Go get a tight end for a week or 2, right? And you could plug him in. And that could be a guy.
Don't waste your 6th round position. Your 6th draft.
Josh Allen and Dawson Knox, we all know are real tight, right? And Kincaid obviously is there, but
he's got a contract too. They signed Knox to a contract. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I just think that tight ends this year, you could just go get one late off the waiver wire. Go find a tight end that's going to scrap and go get you 6 to 10 points a game and build your depth.
All right, I got a question for you. Tell me what you feel about this. This was a very real scenario that I dealt with last night in my last draft. It's a Yahoo league, so it was late receivers, and I had the choice of Josh Downs for the Colts, right? And, they got Alec Pierce, they got Adonis Mitchell, or Michael Pittman was still there.
Wow.
And Michael Pittman's like the number 1.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there looking at Downs or Pittman, and I'm like, is it really a choice? Like, I thought Pittman was a no-brainer, but like whenever you look, Pittman's average depth of target is so down, and his average like space in his routes, he's not getting open last couple of years. So
Yeah.
he had this huge 21 through 23, but the last 2 years have been awful. And you have your other guy kind of trending up. So I'm like, man, do I like Downs? I ended up taking Downs over Pittman just because I
That's
was already
crazy.
pretty made on
Never
receiver.
thought we'd say that, right? I mean,
Right. And I was already pretty made on receiver, so I was kind of playing the upside. But like you're looking at them being exactly the same draft position. You have Daniel Jones, right? So he's going to be a feasible arm. I think maybe it could be a wrong pick choosing Downs over Pittman, but I think that it's a very interesting question because Michael Pittman was like a third round pick a few years ago, and now he's this far down. Is it because they have no quarterback, or it's your boy Daniel Jones, or is it because the Josh Downs is a very real thing and he did take over last year?
their stats are very comparable last year. I mean, they're almost identical.
Right, and then you're talking about the boomer bust.
5 yards apart. They
Right.
both had 800 yards, 808, 803. Pittman had a little less catches, 69.
And Downs has a bigger yards per catch, so that's why I went with him, right?
No, Pittman has more yards per catch. But yeah, I mean, I know what you're
Pittman has
saying.
more yards per catch.
Yeah, but it's like, but yeah,
I
because
thought Downs was more of a deep threat, is why I went with him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's close. I think Daniel Jones has shown he'll throw balls to his number one. I mean, he's not a horrible fantasy quarterback for your
Pittman
fantasy
is just a big body guy as well. I'm like, maybe it's the wrong pick because Pittman's the big body guy,
Yeah. Pittman has been
I was curious to ask you on this because it's a coin toss pick and like it's a decision. Those are the decisions that win your league. Did you get a guy who's going to be putting up 15 points in the 12th round? Or did you get a guy who you could have got the other dude, but you chose wrong and he's putting up 15 points? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that Pittman, I would have went Pittman, but stats showed it's real close. And with Daniel Jones at the helm this year, I think
you can tell I'll be following their eat and sleep schedule for the rest of the season between these two to compare.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, it's crazy looking at their stats. They're 5 yards away, stats for the year. They're 3 catches away. They're 2 touchdowns away. Like, it's pretty much the exact same player when it comes to
they
stats.
Were drafted the exact same position, so it makes sense.
And when you Google Downs, the first thing it says is Downs versus Pittman. So, like, that's a question that a lot of people are Googling. A lot of people are asking. I'm motoring through this draft, just seeing, like, other things that I thought were pretty interesting. Back to round 1, though, I'm a little surprised Gibbs slipped to pick 7. I wonder if that's just because
I think that's because Montgomery's there. You know what I mean?
I think there. Montgomery's healthy. Ben Johnson's gone. I think Gibbs is a superstar. But yeah, Bijan Robinson went 1 ahead of Jamar Chase. You haven't seen
I could definitely see that. I could see it. But in that league, though, like I make those leagues such a high bonus league, and it's a full point PPR. Like you have to know your leagues. And if it's a bonus league, receivers are almost always going to be the case that's going to get you a higher average bonus.
Yeah.
A running back pulling off what Saquon did last year is fantasy gold. It doesn't happen very often. Breaking out so many 25, 35, 45, 55 yarders, whatever it is. Receivers, it happens a lot more.
Yeah, I was so excited to get A-Chain in the 16th with the 16th pick because
he's going to lead the league in catches for running backs.
Full point PPR. He's going to have there's going to be games he could have 7 catches for 35
Do you think
yards.
A-Chain has a chance for 1,000 season?
Could be interesting, right? I mean, he's in the perfect offense.
I wonder who's the last 1,000 receiver. Was it Arian Foster? Or was it McCaffrey?
I could be honest with you. I never even knew that happened.
Yeah, 1,000 receiving and 1,000 rushing. 100%.
Yeah.
I know Arian Foster was a huge proponent of that kind of thing. He was like the dude
Whenever
I was first coming on the scene.
Yeah.
I think out of all the running backs that you're looking at, the potential candidates, should be Jahmyr Gibbs.
Happened 3 times.
Okay.
McCaffrey in 2019, Marshall Faulk in 99, and Roger Craig in 85.
Okay, so it was never Arian Foster. He got close. So McCaffrey did it, Marshall Faulk, and then Roger Craig. So if you get 1,000, you're making history. Why not Devon A-Chain, right?
A-Chain could do it, right?
If you catch 100 balls, dude, in 17 games, we already know the math. It's only 4 or 5 or 6, whatever it is. And then you're talking about to get to the yardage, you break that up. I feel like that's a very real thing. Now, all
Yeah.
right, what do you think about Waddle? I saw Waddle plummeting in drafts. Why is
Yeah.
Waddle plummeting in drafts?
Yeah, let's see where he went here.
I think that everyone's like, okay, Tyreek Hill comes back. Obviously, people are kind of scared of Tua. That's why Tyreek Hill's dropping in that, third, fourth round bubble.
Yeah.
Obviously, you get A-Chain. A-Chain gets a massive target share. You got Darren Waller, sleeper tight end. Another reason to not draft tight end, right? You got Darren Waller. And then you have like Waddle, who's like popped. He's an Alabama guy, wasn't he?
He's going round 6. He's real close with Tua.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
I feel like he's being undervalued because like he's definitely a third, fourth round kind of guy, but
people are just not high on the Dolphins this year. I think we kind of are a little
you
bit.
got him in the playoffs, don't you? You're wearing a Dolphins jacket. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I think the Dolphins are going to be good. I think that too. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. Tua has been healthy to 2 out of the last 4 years.
They're in the
2
playoffs.
years he's healthy, they go to the playoffs. His stats, I mean, I would be shocked. I'm going to say this. I think Tua stays healthy all year. I'm just, I'm just hoping for that. But I think Tua's a pretty smart guy. And if he's healthy, it's going to be a 4,500-yard quarterback. He's going to throw for 30 to 40, 35, 40 touchdowns. I mean,
no, if Tua's out, that team's cooked, right? Like that's a wrap.
When Tua's healthy, that offense, it's almost like a poetry emotion kind of thing. It's very cute. It's finesse. It looks different.
And it's very timing oriented.
Very timing oriented. But, Tua's got a noodle arm. Of course, we all know that. But the guy knows how to run an offense, and they built that offense around Tua.
I don't know if Tua's ever outthrown Tyreek Hill, right? Like Tyreek just can't do it.
They said Tyreek Hill finally understands the offense. Look at the last 4 years for Waddle, right? He was a 100-catch guy 4 years ago. 3 years ago, he had 75 catches, but he was almost at 1,400 yards. Last year, 72 catches for 1,000 yards. Then last year was 58 catches, 750 yards. Now, that's without Tua.
That's because of Tua.
Yeah. I mean, he shows you with Tua, he's a 1,000-yard guy.
It's like I feel like his ceiling could be 100 catches, 1,500 yards. You know what I mean? Like they could. Him and Hill have been known as one of the better duos in the league. It's just like, is he going to get the love this year?
Yep. I could see him doing 1,100 yards and 88 catches, something like that, right?
And going in the 7th round.
I know, right?
That's outrageous. That's outrageous. That's stupid, bro. That's a miss. That's like fantasy value in drafting. All right, so let's talk about another ugly pick. I have a little bone here. I got Ramondre Stevenson late in the draft.
Yeah.
Now in this draft that I drafted Ramondre Stevenson, I had a couple of top backs, and I was going down lately. I think I ended up taking Tank Bigsby, right?
Yeah.
I had a choice between Ramondre Stevenson or Jordan Mason. I ended up, and it's like one of those things. I know Jordan Mason is in this great position with Minnesota. I have Jordan Mason in a couple leagues, right? So that's also the thing about fantasy. You end up not always having the same propensity, so you can switch it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I'm like looking at it. Do I make my bet with Jordan Mason again? Ramondre's there. The Vrabel's still got a double, 2-back offense. I know Ramondre does fumble, but he could fall into 10 touchdowns. He's still the early down back. He still has to lose the job. It's his 5th year. Vrabel's giving him a shot, and he's actually looked decent. I went with Ramondre Stevenson, but I got Ramondre in like the 9th round. So I don't feel it's horrible. What's up there in the nose? See up there. What's up there, Gene? You all good? What's that visor say? You in there?
Sorry, guys.
Hey, how's it going, bro? How do you feel about your team?
Yo, Barber did a good job, buddy.
Yo, I meant to go backstage. I don't know. Take me out of the camera, please.
You're live. You're on the network, bro. So let's talk about this. How do you feel? Oh, he's gone. So Gene did take Joe. You took Joe Burrow in the 5th, and then you took Ingram in the 6th or 7th. What was the thoughts behind these picks? Taking quarterback and tight end in your first 8 picks.
I know you're going to make fun of me because that's what you always do with how I handle my fantasy sports.
You had insider information with people telling you to never take quarterback tight end in the first 8 rounds. I'm just curious to hear your thoughts.
I'm going to be honest. So I took the quarterback at one point, because I lost internet service for a couple of rounds, and it auto
So
drafted
you got
Burrow.
auto pick Burrow.
Okay, you
I got auto
lucky.
pick Burrow.
Okay, so you're all,
So
that's you got to give
I'm
me. On that
happy
one.
with Burrow. When I took Ingram, there was a couple other tight ends, like Kelsey was there. Obviously, Kelsey's rated above Ingram. I just I don't want to have that spot with Kelsey when the wheels fall off and he's not Kelsey of old. And I like Ingram in a Sean Payton offense.
No, yeah, Jimmy Graham's proof in the pudding there, right? Evan Ingram had like a 60-yard catch in preseason. I'd be shocked if Bo Nix doesn't throw him the ball. If I'm going to go tight end a little early, I completely agree with that Evan Ingram pick.
I already had some decent receivers. I already had some decent backs. I'm like, let me go get my tight end. I feel confident with where I'm at receiver back wise. And I was like, I can get a better tight end right now than I can get a running back wide receiver. Let me get my tight end right now. I love Ingram this year with, like I said, Sean Payton. You just said it, Jimmy Graham. That's where I look at it. Jimmy Graham was never the same player outside of a Payton offense. And I said, you know what? Let me go get Ingram. It's a little bit of a reach for him, but I was afraid if somebody else had the same way of thinking that they might have took him too. It's like they say in the NFL. If there's a guy out there you like at a certain point, you go out and just take him.
Is Ingram's the ride or die for you? Ride or die?
No, but I believe
You
in
were
him.
putting this whole stamp on him. Why can't you ride or die with him? Like, who's your ride or die tight end?
Well, no.
So let me put it this way. But let me put it this way. I'm a Jets fan. I ride or die with nobody anymore. The last 15 years as a Jets fan has proven to me you should never ride or die with any player. They'll all break your heart. And so I'm not gonna really. There's nobody I ride or die with on my team. Anybody can go.
I will say I love Ingram and Mark Andrews, my favorite two tight ends. If you're going to pick them high, but still mid-round value, they're going to produce top 5, and I think that you get them down 6th, 7th round. I think that's tremendous. I think those are the only tight ends that I would definitely go for. He's one of them for sure.
Yeah, Evan Ingram in the Sean Payton offense, like you said, and like there's not really a standout number 2 receiver. Mims is a deep threat. Sutton's the guy, but
Sutton's the guy.
I mean, are we going to be surprised if Evan Ingram leads the team in catches?
Didn't they just get rid of Vele too? You know what I mean? So it's another.
Yeah, they just traded him to New Orleans.
Right. Yeah. So they just got rid of Vele too. So yeah, Ingram just goes up the pecking order another spot. Do you think Ingram gets upwards of 100 catches?
I
think RG Harvey just gets some work in that receiving game. I think he's a 70, 80 catch guy maybe. That's still phenomenal though.
RJ Harvey to me is his Alvin Kamara in this offense. So I love RJ Harvey. He's my breakout star for Denver. So yeah, I do think that takes away. I think Ingram will have a tremendous year. But yeah, I don't think he's going to I don't know if he'll have 100 catches though.
Okay. Yeah, 100 catches is a lot for any tight end.
It's a lot. Hey, it's a lot. But I mean, he's a number 2 receiver, like you're saying. Like Cortland Sutton is like an 80 to 100 guy. Like Ingram could be right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'll be right there. It'll be fun to watch for sure. Gene, focus on the road. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
All right, bro. Yeah, Rob, take me off, bro.
If you miss a U-turn or if you miss a turn, just go down and take a U-turn.
So back to what you were saying. I like Jordan Mason way over Ramondre. I mean, I think that's like a 2-round gap.
They were definitely a 2-round gap. Mason was still 2 rounds further down than Ramondre. That's why it was like such a quandary for me to sit there and kind of like go through. And I broke it down to numbers.
Mason went 8th. Ramondre went 10th.
Yeah, not in this one. It was drastically different. And a lot of drafts. There's only the few who really feel savvy about Jordan Mason. I've seen him out of 4 leagues. 3 of them he went late. 1 of them he kind of went early.
Yeah. I mean, to me, this is the thing. Ramondre, Travion Henderson, right? Ramondre has proven he turns the ball over and he can't be a successful number 1 running back. He's also older than Travion Henderson. He's slower and he's turnover prone, like I said, right? Jordan Mason with Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason's younger, right? So it goes up a little notch. Jordan Mason has proven he could be a lead running back in the NFL. Like he's
Well,
done
the
it.
only person Frank made a crazy stat yesterday, he led the league in broken tackles only behind Derrick Henry last year. So the guy is
He's
just like you can't fucking shake him, or you can't bring him down. He just shakes everything.
He's a strong running back. And I think Aaron Jones, this will be the year he kind of falls off a little bit. And Jordan Mason will be the RB1 of a very powerful offense in a lot of indoor games. And he already kind of exploded on the scene last year with the Niners. And the Niners just
I got 2 shares of Jordan Mason. I got 1 share of Ramondre Stevenson. Probably should have had 3 shares of him. Just it's one of those interesting questions where you probably do have to, like, sometimes you end up with the same player in that same position because he's just the right pick,
Yeah.
instead of trying to be different and whatnot. Have to look at the way that one. I'll be looking at those 2 and monitoring my decision on that one closely as well.
Exactly. I'm trying to go through this draft.
So let's talk just a little bit about defenses. I know we're at the hour mark here.
Yeah.
So you got some defenses. I hate going defenses, anything but my last couple picks. And people are going Steelers in the 8th, 9th, whatever. People always reach for these defenses. I got Houston late in 1. I think my favorite pick of a defense, if we're going to talk about it, is the Patriots. They're like going in the mid. They have the really light first half of the year schedule. If you look at it, they're like one of the softest schedules in the league, and they could easily come out to a blistering start and then turn into something, So I feel like the Patriots are a sneaky D for value, because you're not trying to overpay. And then if you don't pick on any defense and you're looking for a defense to target at all, you and I talked about it. And it's funny because they're on one of the leagues as the top defensive pick in the wire because nobody got them. The Arizona Cardinals this week. Why? Because they're playing the Saints. The Saints are going to be trash. Pick against them. Stream defenses against them.
Well, that's why I like
survivor strategy, which I also want to talk to you about. A little survivor strategy getting into it this week. But the Saints aren't going to be a light 'em up team. They're going to be a struggling offense. Arizona's coming in with a lot of firepower, a lot of hype right now. I could definitely see them not only beating the shit out of them in week 1, but I could see that defense having, maybe a pick 6 or a fumble or something like that, fumble return for a touchdown.
Yeah, you don't want to talk too much about defenses, but the one thing you want to look is the schedule early on, the schedule late, right? Like I think the Patriots,
just breathe through it,
When do they play the Bills, right? Because you don't want to play the Patriots defense when they're playing the Bills. But I do think that the Bucs defense I like because they play the Saints twice, they play Carolina twice, they play Atlanta twice. Those are 3 teams that all have young quarterbacks that could all turn the ball over. The Bucs defense supposedly is a little weaker this year than it's been in years past. That the Bucs offense is kind of the one that everyone's talking about for a long time. It's always been the Bucs defense.
It was always the opposite.
But now,
good pick.
Their schedule is real user friendly for a good defensive pick. Obviously, you always pick your defense in the 15th or 16th round. And
you're sure hoping you do. You think the Steelers are the best defense in the league?
Yeah, I do. But they play the Ravens and the Steelers twice, or Ravens and the Bengals.
And the Bengals, yeah.
So, but they play the Browns twice. So that could be something that, guys, please like, follow, subscribe. We really appreciate it. It's been a fun show. Next week, we're going to start talking survivor pool strategy also. It's really fun to talk about. We'll find a way if you guys want to reach out to us, but we're in a great, all for fun survivor pool run by one of our most loyal, legendary listeners, and great man, great guy, and a lot of fun things with that. But we'll also be doing some summaries of survivor pools week to week. We're working something out with that, but it's going to be
You'll have some best balls heating up. I know that much.
Yeah. What was the other thing I want to talk about really quick? Oh, yeah. Late, you could go Cam Ward and Tua in the 14th, 15th round, right?
Right.
And I think that, Rob, we get it. You don't like the Steelers this year. You're a Steeler fan. Steelers have a really good defense, but their schedule is not fun. So I'm not starting the Steelers against Joe Burrow or the Ravens. I do think the Steelers are going to be fun to watch, and I do think that they're going to be really good this year. We'll see. But, you go Cam Ward and Tua in the 15th round. I think Tua could be a 45. If you take Tua's stats over a 17-game stretch, He's throwing for 4,500 yards and 30 to 40 touchdowns. That's just those are
which is QB. He's in the QB1 conversation, obviously,
and you're
not
getting
as the overall, but as a top QB first 12 picks, and he's grossly undrafted.
Yeah, so I think that Cam Ward, I just don't see
Cam Ward. I was telling you can get that cheap combo. Calvin Ridley is like a fifth, sixth round receiver, and he's the number one. And then you could go grab Cam Ward, and they got a running game with Pollard. Spears is on the mend; he'll be back and fine. Like they got a sneaky little Okonkwo tight end pick over there. Nobody's talking about him. Like,
I got some weapons. Backup tight end, like in the 15th round or 14th. Yeah, that's another guy.
Baby Chig.
Okonkwo, right? You can literally get him in the 14th round.
It's unbelievable.
I want to say Shador makes him a tight end one this year. I feel like, wait, did I say that right? No, Cam Ward.
Ward.
I said Shador.
Yeah, but I was thinking Njoku, clearly.
Yeah, exactly. Cam Ward will make Okonkwo, I think, if I'm saying his name right, is going to make him.
Yeah, Chig Okonkwo.
But
he's quick too, bro. He came on the scene like the last 5 games last year. It was like a top 8, 9 guy. It was crazy.
What's your thoughts on Pollard?
I think that Tajee Spears is still on the mend and Pollard's still the guy. Tajee Spears had an incredible camp. They're talking about, how whenever he came onto the scene, he took so much work away from Derrick Henry. And it's just like every year it's the same thing. He just can't stay healthy early. And then he never really gets this momentum. And then like by the time he does, it's always a little bit late and he's kind of a waiver ad. I don't know. I think that Pollard has all the runway right now. I think Tajee is definitely still going to be, a passing down back. But Pollard, pencil him in for 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns. It's an ugly, not sexy pick who nobody really likes taking, but he's clearly, if you get him as your third RB, your fourth RB, you're loving that. If you got him as your second, it's serviceable,
I was in a draft a couple days ago. I thought this was kind of funny, but it went 6th, 7th round, right? And the last pick in the 6th round went Waddle. First pick, 7th round, Jameson Williams. And I was thinking, I'm like, man, if that could be like, if that's your double flex, Jalen Waddle and Jameson Williams, and you're in like a big game late in the year, you're stressing if you're playing against that team, right?
100%.
It's just like, oh God, like Jameson Williams and Jalen Waddle within like 2 seconds,
they're gone.
70-yard touchdowns, and you're just like, what just happened? I just lost my fantasy. I thought that was kind of a fun little tandem, right?
That's Waddle, a good tandem,
right?
That's a great tandem.
And Jameson Williams could be one of those guys too, where I'm not going to say he's not taking over Amon-Ra St. Brown. They're 2 totally different receivers, but those could easily be 2,000-yard guys, right?
Just another weapon that's in there. And he's had a lot of stories this training camp about him rolling into that leader position and like turning into everybody, or the position that everybody thought he could be, that role. So do you have any picks that you think like that you've seen risen up the board that were unexpected in your opinion? I'm going to talk about the Bucks kid in a second, because obviously he's flying up the board everywhere, and there's still something a caveat about that. But I don't know if you have anyone you want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean in our last draft, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt going in the 5th round, I thought was crazy.
That is wild. You're right. Him coming up there. I'm like Jaden Daniels still going to run the ball too. Like
I just don't see it, because like you could have reached for him in that 7th, right?
Yeah,
but obviously that move is directly getting done because Brian Robinson Jr. got traded and Terry McLaurin is still not signed, right? So those 2 things. Now you're saying if you want to just play, not devil's advocate, but play on his side, Santos, who drafted him, he's the RB1 in a very explosive offense, right?
That's what he told me last night. We were hanging out, and he was telling me, it was like, they obviously know something about him, so that's why they would send out Brian Robinson. I'm like, okay, that's how he feels. He thinks that they have the inside info that he's a stud, and that's why he's going to be their number 1.
Yeah, and that could well be the case. The problem is Austin Eckler and Debo are still there. You know what I mean?
And Eckler was such a poor performer last year. I only see progression for Eckler this year. I feel like he definitely gets more involved with another year in the offense, and Jaden's probably going to have him doing what he wants him to do. Eckler's a dangerous dude if you use him right. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they didn't even really like hit his potential. So what if it was Eckler? You know, like everybody's buying into the Krosky Merritt, and Eckler comes back and he's fucking Eckler.
Yeah. Yeah. How old is Eckler?
Oh God, I suck at this game. I'm gonna say 31. It's probably 29.
No, I think you're probably right. He's 30. He just turned 30, so he's all right. He still has a little bit of legs there,
Isn't James Conner right in that same bubble too?
Yeah,
like right in that 30 bubble, right?
Yeah, I know. It's those guys are on the way out, but real serviceable backs. You get them late,
Man, James Conner's still up there in the draft board. I still have zero stock in him after he burned me years ago.
Yeah.
Just won't touch him. And everybody keeps talking about Trey Benson, just trying to get more and more involved in that Arizona offense. People are saying we're going to see more of it. I don't know. I feel like it's Conner's job to lose. I don't think that Benson just starts taking work away from him, if you get what I'm saying. I think Conner has a chance to definitely run 1,010 touches. He still catches the ball too. Conner gets you like 40 catches on the low, man, like 30.
Yeah,
catches.
Wu-Tang's asking about Eckler. Obviously, we're talking about it right now. I think he's going to be the guy. Let's just look at his stats from last year first. And then, so he had 77 carries for 367 yards.
Trash.
Yeah, so he's obviously going to be a guy.
He has to progress. There's no way that he regresses, especially with Brian Robinson gone.
He had 35 catches for, I think he goes back to like a 50 to 60 catch guy.
Sure.
Right? But that
because behind McLaurin is who? Ertz, another tight end we're not talking about, going completely undrafted.
Yeah.
And then after McLaurin and Ertz, it's Eckler. I mean, I'm not putting Diami Brown as a target share ahead of Eckler or Ertz. I'm going to say your offense pecking order goes McLaurin, Ertz, Eckler when it comes to how you're dishing out the ball in the air, right? And Christian Rodriguez can catch the fucking ball. I'm like, bro, I don't know, man. I think this Krosky Merritt ship, it could A, be a league-winning pick because nobody even knew who Krosky Merritt was, or B, he could completely cost Santos' fucking league and anybody else who invests that high in him, because it could very well be Austin Eckler or Christian Rodriguez's backfield. And those guys are going much, much after.
Yeah. I think
that's on a top offense, on a good team who's supposed to be playing for the division in the playoffs, ascending.
Yeah, it could be a guy. What's Eckler's ADP?
Bro, Eckler's going 12 or 13.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, not a bad guy to, build your depth, right? It's kind of what we're saying here. I could pretty much wrap it up. Do you got anything else to add?
No, man. We got obviously a big draft on Wednesday. We're super excited about it. We'll all be hanging out and we'll be breaking that down next week. This is an exciting time. Cowboys have our football
next Wednesday.
Yeah, next Wednesday.
Yeah.
We have the season kicking off on September 4th. We'll have another show before then, and some good topics to talk about. I'm pretty much covered, man. Had a great day. Excited. Had a great day hanging out with everyone yesterday, and just looking forward to another good week, man. Oh, yeah. I do have one thing to say. Cowboys better fucking sign Micah Parsons. This shit is ridiculous. Jerry, if you're listening, because I know that obviously we're kind of making it our rounds through the ESPN circles. You have to sign Micah Parsons. You don't have a choice.
Sign him or trade him. Do something, right?
And if we're gonna trade him, let's take home a haul, because he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. It is what it is.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
One love. Prop Stars out.